Hiya, folks. Well, live with the Shaman right here. How we doing? Hope everyone is doing well. Boy, have we got a lot to cover today. And I don't know who all is going to be here, but I know that those who wanted this done aren't here. There's a surprise. Welcome to Live with the Shaman broadcast. Today we're going to be talking about first year, what you do, what your expectations are. This is going to be part one of who the hell knows how long it's going to be because I'm going to be teaching the aspects that you would normally learn as a first year. We will go over the expectations of a first year. Um, I've got the writing up. I posted it on the OpenGCS page, right? So if you want to go out, download it, take a peek. I have instructions there if you want to make recommendations or ideas or changes or what have you. Um, put them in red in there and send them to me. Or you can put your changes in red, name it um, training, GCS training, and upload it back to the site. We will gladly go through it. We'll look at it. We'll talk about it. Whatever changes need to be made. I do, um, I do check this not only on my Linux computer but also my Windows computer, and I make sure that spell check is done, grammar, what have you, because well, we all know um, this is why I never wrote a book. I can talk up a storm, but I can't write for nothing. So remember, Live with the Shaman is essentially a adult channel, as it were. We try to maintain what we're saying and keep an eye out because sometimes students, prospective students, seekers, and first years may want to listen with other families around. All right. Um, well, showed up a like by somebody. Ah, but I don't see anybody in the chat. This is interesting. Doesn't say anybody is here. Um, so if anybody's here, say hello because I can't see you in the chat. Therefore, I'm not going to know if you have any questions. Facebook is tripping this morning. I'm only showing, I'm showing 2.6 megs streaming, but there you go. Facebook, I've noticed in the background, has been in and out. It goes from 2 megs to 0 just that quick. So without further ado, and I'm going to try to keep these courses within 1 hour. As always, the first thing we're going to do is go through the presentation of the expectations. I have already put in where this file is located. Feel free, download it, check it out, look at it, make changes. If you make changes to it, make them in red. Change the name of the file to GCS underscore training, your name, and upload them to the site. There you go. Enough of that. Ah, there she is. I can see you now. Boy, Facebook is tripping this morning. All right. Let's see. All right. Got vape. Got coffee. Well, what's left of it. Got Dr. Pepper. All right. Here we go. First year. Expectations. What are we looking at? Well, let's get you up here. Oops, that's too much. All right, here we go. First year. What is a first year? This is an oath that you take to your teacher, though you're not actually a member of the GCS proper. You'll hear us use that term a lot, GCS proper, meaning that you haven't actually oathed to the GCS because you haven't made the priesthood yet. Ladies and gentlemen, when I use the word priesthood, I am not being sexist. I'm meaning both priest and priestesses. Priestesses. Yeah, them too. See, you're still trained under the confines of the tradition. Um, your teacher conducts your training. There's no drama, right? It says right there, this is done. Less drama. No he said, she said, within the GCS proper. GCS proper are priest and above only. This gives your teacher, this also gives your teacher the ability to take the amount of time that they need, and they're not restricted to the base year and a day, right? The rest of the stuff you can read, blah, blah, blah. This one right here is really very important. It is not the teacher's responsibility to chase you down and babysit you for your assignments. Pay close attention to me. I, nor any other teacher within the GCS, is going to chase you down and beg you for your assignments. I may ask you every once in a while, but I will eventually just quit, and it's all up to you. Onward. Okay. The reading list and materials is between each you and your teacher. Okay. Each teacher will have their own list of reading assignments. The assignments, the reading materials that I have here in this write-up, like I say, this is the teaching curriculum that I, Don Pegasus, founding master of the Grove, this is what I teach. This is the way I teach my first years. Clint and Cindy and Lucy and Sabrina and eventually Michelle and whoever else we have out there that I am freaking missing. You will teach your own way. You will hopefully eventually write up your expectations of your first years, and there you go. And by the way, by all means, you're quite welcome to um, use my training curriculum, right? My required reading and why. None of these books. Now get this. This is one of the things that just irritates the bejeebus out of some people that come to me for training. I restrict, and let me get this over here so that you have an idea of what I'm talking about. I restrict all of my first years from reading any shamanic material. I say again, I restrict all of my first years from reading any shamanic material. Why? The last thing I want is for a student, most especially a remote student, that I can't look at them, I can't see what they're doing, I can't see them on a regular basis, I can't see how you're doing. I have to depend on talking to you over the phone, speaking with you via email, talking to you here on LWTS. Um, so it, I don't want students reading 5 or 6 books on shamanism to confuse them more than they're already confused, right? So, uh, the books that I'm having you read, the books that you're reading, have absolutely nothing to do with shamanism. But they have everything to do with who you are, as well as where you're from and where you're going. Now, understand that. One of the biggest things with shamanism is accepting, knowing, embracing, realizing who you are, where you're going, and who you're going to become. These things, these books that I have spent years listening to, of course, unfortunately with my dyslexic, I can't sit down and just read books. These are available in audio. I am working on trying to get them downloaded so that I can make them available. Ah. Did I say that out loud? Yes, I'm working on trying to locate these books in audio so that I can download them, make them available, and we can go from there. Right. One of the very first books that I require reading, that I require everyone getting a hold of, is Flying Without a Broom by DJ Conway. This is an old book. This damn thing has been around for a long time. It is probably one of the best step one learning how to astral travel. Okay? Learning how to astral travel, learning what it is, learning that, and listen to me closely here if you will, please. There is no astral projection. I say that again. That was a charmed thing. There is no astral projection. Yes, semantics if you want. There is astral travel. There is OBE, which is a projection of one's spirit to another location on this realm. But you learn that within your first year. So what do we got here? Flying Without a Broom. Let me tell you, this is the number one first reading for my students because my students are required to learn how to astral travel. Now, folks, there are three forms of astral travel, the way you achieve it. Three, right? One, spontaneous. Astral travel, bang, you're there. The part of your id, your spirit, your subconscious, is all of a sudden finding itself in the astral, communicating with spirit guides, communicating with spirits, counsel, your spirit guides, getting to know them, getting to travel around in the astral, find out what it's about. There is spontaneous astral travel. There is meditative astral travel where you actually sit down, you meditate, and you set your mind to go in to the astral. And then there is the sleep astral where you sleep astral has a lot to do with spontaneous astral, but spontaneous astral is sitting at work and all of a sudden you get snacked. You get snagged and you end up in the astral. Um, Sleep astral is where you lay down to sleep at night and you get your mind to going. I really would like to spend some time with spirit guide. I'd like to spend some time with the masters in the astral college, learning who and what I am, where I'm going, and what I'm going to be doing. Right. So the whole purpose for flying with a broom is understanding the basics and the basis for astral travel. And yes, Michelle says, I still can't do it. Actually, you can and you do. I'll say that again. You can and you do. You're going to argue with me, I get it. But I have communicated with you a lot in the astral. You've woken up several mornings and communicated with me of things that we've talked about in the astral, things we've communicated in the astral. You may not have a forward memory or an instant recall of things you've done. That can take time. I've had students that just don't remember everything that goes on in the astral. I've had students that the book gives them ideas of how to do it, but um, they never really actually get to where they can communicate in the astral, but the masters of the astral are communicating with them, spirit guides, counsel, masters, trainers, what have you. And you wake up with that knowledge, right? Here's the thing with the first year training. Each one of these we go through, you're getting trained, you're getting educated right here live with the shaman through these first year training. So the purpose for flying without a broom is to give you conscious knowledge of what your subconscious is capable of doing. You may not remember it. You may not always get it. Okay? Any questions on flying with a broom? I realize we don't have a whole lot with us this morning, but any of you that are watching the pre-recorded broadcast later, by all means, PM me with questions. Put your questions here. Um, I've noticed with Facebook, it's really hard to see comments. So what I do is all of our presentations, I turn on the PM. I turn on the instant messenger option for these broadcasts. And if you're watching on our archives of YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, and Tumblr, feel free to post your comments in there as well. All right. Good morning to those of you just joining. So, again, we were discussing Flying Without a Broom, why that is the number one book. You need your conscience mind. You need your conscience mind to help train your subconscious mind. So the first book that you're going to be reading is going to be Flying Without a Broom. And that's why. This is the one that just really befuddles people to a T. Nora Roberts did a set of books. Several books spawned off of these books. But Nora Roberts did a set of books many, many years ago. And these were one of the first sets of audio books I ever got. I did actually get the paperback version. I tried to sit down and read them, and my poor dyslexic mind just couldn't do it. But I meditated on these audio books for years. I played them 3, 4, 5 times a year. And folks, every time I listened to them, I got something different out of them. My first year students are, why in the hell do you want me to listen to the title, The Key of Light series? Well, duh. Understand the keys. Also help you with the understanding of emotions, the human elements, understanding more about yourself. Though they say absolutely nothing in the book about the 5 human elements, all of the 5 human elements are covered within the Key of Light series. Yep, Michelle says every time I read them, I get something different out of them. And you will find this to be true. As you go through your training as a first year, and the first time you read them is like, what the hell? This is a love story. This is a love novel. It's yeah, okay, some of it is. But as you begin to get deeper into your training and a better understanding of who and what you are and where you're going, you'll begin to understand, oh, wait, that does speak to me about the 5 human elements. Okay? And as a first year, you need to understand what the 5 human elements are. I have made videos upon videos and broadcast upon broadcast about the 5 human elements. What are they? Spirit, right? Not spiritual, but spirit. Physical, emotional, psychological, and sexual. I'll say it again. Spirit, physical, emotional, psychological, and sexual. All 5 of these elements make human beings who they are. Whether you're whether you're very open sexually, whether you're into BDSM, whether you're into asexual, pansexual, I don't care. That's not even the topic. The topic is the sexuality of a human being. Right. So the five human elements are spirit, physical, emotional, psychological, and sexual. These three books, the Key of Light series, take you through each and every one of those human elements without you even realizing it. And all of a sudden, as you begin to read more and you get more into them, whether it's audio book or paperback, it's up to you, I could care less. I will ask you questions through your studentry um, that kind of lead but not really directly point to what these are about. But the Key of Light series, you'll understand what the key is. Okay? I'm not going to tell you here, and I don't tell you when you're a student. I don't tell you what the keys are. You tell me what the three keys are. Yeah. Oh, I dropped a little tidbit, didn't I? Oh, three keys. Key one, key two, and key three. Okay? And none of the authors of these books give me any kickback. I doubt very seriously they even know I'm a big proponent of their books. These are relatively old books. I've got other sets of books that I really like for people to read, but that's good, comfortable reading for later, right? So again, the Key of Light series will help you begin to have a more understanding of who you are, where you're going, and how you're going to get there. As shaman, right? As shaman, we deal with boatloads of emotions, um, psychosociological emotions all day, every day as healers, as spiritual counselors. We have to not sympathize, okay, but empathize with someone who comes to us for help. We have to be able to empathize and understand, maybe not know how they feel. You will never know how someone feels. I give a damn how, um, what is the word everybody loves to use nowadays? I don't care how intuitive or how connected you think you are. You will never know how someone feels. You can understand. You can empathize. I don't recommend you sympathize. And if you don't know the difference, you can Google it. But as shaman, we have to accept and understand who we are, where we're going, what we're doing, and most especially, ladies and gentlemen, the trick that we're going to use to get there. Something else that these books will help you understand. Now, this is another one of those that if you're kind of eavesdropping with a half an ear, this is more training that is tucked within the conversation of a set of books. And I do that a lot. We'll be talking about books, we'll be talking about life, we'll be talking about examples, and that entire conversation is a training session. And you'd be amazed how many people come back to me going, well, you haven't taught me anything. No? Really? What did we talk about last month? What did we talk about 3 months ago? I don't know. Well, maybe you need to go back and check it out. I will send you an email and say you have an assignment, blah, blah, blah. 2 or 3 weeks later, I may ask you, how's your assignments coming? Well, what were the assignments? Read your freaking email. I've had students tell me I'm really very hard. I am, for the most part. I can be a total asshole when it comes to teaching, but at the same time, I try to be very fair. If you say you're going to do something, by God, do it. Anyway, That being said, onward and upward. Here we go. Right. The three key series, right? The Key of Light, right? Books 1 through 3. There's your author. You can Google it. It is very easily shown, um, very easily found. And like I say, they say absolutely nothing directly about the five human elements. However, in reading these books, you will find yourself with a better understanding of the five human elements. So, what? The next set of books is mind-boggling. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about this set of books. Um, the Black Jewels, the Black Jewels by Ann Bishop. It again, it's another one of those books that says absolutely nothing about shamanism in it, but by understanding where you're going, um, yeah, well, that's coming. Um, Says we need to, yes, we need to have our video chat and soon. Well, you got to reach out to me, my student. You have to reach out to me and say, I've got my candle. I'm ready to do this. Let's set up the time to do it. You have to initiate. You have to push, and you have to schedule because I'm not going to call you on a date night and go, it's time. Not my job. So consider yourself energy swacked. Hey, gotta have fun with it. So let's talk about the black jewels, shall we? There are several jewels, if you will, that are just kind of simple um, book props, if you will. The different colored jewels do mean different things, but it also teaches you within this series of books, it opens your mind to the web, right? It opens your mind to the web of life and the things that we do and the types of trials, uh, the types of trials that we go through. Okay, um, the black jewels, they take us through our trials, our tribulations, our different things that we go through. We have to go through the understanding of the dark side. We have to go through the understanding of the light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. Now, these books, the Black Jewels it's a very long 3 book series. 3 books, okay? Um, when I got mine, I got all 3 of them in one book. The damn thing was like that thick. And I actually muddled through and read the damn thing. It took me almost a year to read it, and until I got the audio, damned if I could tell you what the first page said. I don't remember. But I do remember the lessons that the series had for me throughout the reading. I learned about the web, traversing the web and the understanding the web of life and the things that happen as a shaman within that web. I learned about I learned about the arachnas, who they are and where they're from, and I was able to research them a little bit in the astral, learned a little more. I also learned back then that get this and listen to this real close. This is another one of those stuck in little training modules there. When you're doing working with stones and you're working with crystals and stones, shards or jewels or whatever your tool is, it doesn't make any difference whether you use an amethyst or clear quartz or smoked quartz. You can use amethyst to perform the same function with a little bit different energy pattern as you can that of smoky or rose quartz. These are things that I got out of these books. Understanding the different jewels and how they work within the books opens your mind to a whole possibility of things that you never dreamed possible. Now, as it goes, and I will say, the first time you read the damn things, like she says, you'll muddle through. The first time you read them for pleasure. They're a damn good set of books, and there's a bunch of them. The black jewels, there's a bunch of them. The main ones I'm interested in is the first three. The first three set it up. The first three can set you free. Um, After going through the Black Jewels trilogy and the Key of Light series, you'll understand or have a better idea of, like it says right here, back over there, who, what, why. Everyone's answer will not be the same, but you will get a better understanding of the who, what, and the why. And I'll give you a little bit of idea. I'm going to answer these from my standpoint. You'd be amazed how many people copy me on this and have no effing clue what they're talking about. But when I'm looked at as a master of the grove, and one word, who. Now that could be asking me who I am. That could be asking me who you are. That could be asking me who what. What the hell who what? The who to me is the cosmos. Everything. The who is the what. The cosmos, Mother Earth, Father Son, myself, my brothers and sisters on this planet. The who and the what is the all. Not all, A-L-L, but the all. In all of everything that is. And the why is because I am. The why is because it was given to me to be able to do many years ago, and it took me many years to figure out what the hell it was I was supposed to be doing. Why is because it is. It is what and who it is. So the who, the what, and the why is going to be different for everyone. So when it comes down to it, and I look at you, or I pick up the phone and call you, or I IM you, and I say, okay, we are at the point now where, and I may ask you this in the beginning as a first year freshly crossed. Who, what, and why? And I'm going to save those answers, and I'm going to ask you again 9 months or a year down the road, and I'm going to compare your answers and see if they've changed, because they should. Your who, your what, and your why will change with your wisdom, your training, and your education as you go along. It doesn't make any difference if you're part of a group, if you're not part of a group, if you're under a sworn tradition. Once you start studying and you accept yourself as who you are and where you're going, whether it's shaman, witch, druid, ostru, whatever, the further along you get with your training, the who, the what, and the why will change. It may change slightly, but it will change. All right? Everybody got that? And of course, if you don't have it, if you don't get it, rewind. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten messages from people going, "Can you cover so and so again? I didn't catch that." Pull it up, hit play. When it gets to that point, pause it, get a pen and paper, and take notes. Or hit rewind. I'm not going to sit here and repetitively say, though I've been known to do it, the same thing over and over again. If you want to hear me cover something time and time again, hit rewind. You'd be amazed how many people don't know replay. Anyway, I digress. Never. Right. So, as you're going through, um, as the above is being accomplished, a student will be required to perform other studies, assignments, circles. The above will take upwards of 3 to 6 months, believe it or not, to achieve. But every student runs at their, they've got their own speed where they go with this. And during all of this, you're also learning what circles are about. You're learning what some of the different things to do in a circle, some of the different things that you can achieve in a circle. Um, I've had people achieve senior student, okay, without ever actually performing, without actually ever really performing a ritual or a circle. Why? Why do you think that is that I can have a first year that can achieve senior student without performing an actual ritual or a circle? That's simple. Most especially if you're a remote student, I'm not going to be able to watch you do a ritual unless you do the ritual at, in astral, in training, which happens a lot. I'm not going to be able to see you perform a circle unless we do video chat, which now has become more and more popular, where it's easier to do with cell phones and tablets and what have you, computers, obviously, and all of that. Skype. Skype is by far the best way to do a video chat. Um, let's see. Says if the first trimester of discussion and reading is not satisfied, the student will not move forward to senior student. So if the reading and the studies and the psychological, emotional stabilities and the accepting of things are not there, a first year will never make it to senior student. And what's interesting is I've had students make it to senior student that had all of this down pat. They haven't even finished the books yet. The books are a caveat to allow them to be able to learn more about themselves. So, understanding the books as we go along and getting out of these books what's designed for you. Everybody's going to get something a little different. I get something a little different. You'll get something a little different. However, it really does actually all boil down to what you get out of it as a shaman, because it's giving you the ability to walk into a situation or read into a situation or slide into a situation where you have to be able to perceive the surroundings around you and what's going on. The Black Jewels will do that. It'll help you with that. It'll spawn questions that you'll have for me, for your teacher, for whatever. But it'll spawn questions for your teacher that hopefully your teacher will be able to answer for you or help you find the answer to. By far the best way to teach is not to give the student the answer, but to help them find the answer for themselves. Right. Onward and upward. Okay. Enough about the books. This section here is ongoing training. Ongoing training. What is ongoing training? It's things we talk about on a daily basis. I may tell you, oh, while you're at it, you need to understand the reason you're in a white robe is so that you're understanding the light. We learn how to work with the cosmos and the filtering the dark, and you can't do that. You cannot block out darkness to walk in the light. You don't block out the darkness. You embrace it, you let it be what it is, and you understand the light, irregardless of how angry you are or how upset you may be, or something of this nature. So the white robe reminds you every time you put it on that you are a student of the light. You're learning to deal with your anger, you're learning to deal with your anxieties, anger issues, trouble that may be going on within your own world. The purpose for the white robe is to help us understand the working of the light. One of the first assignments I give a first year, along with the reading, and this may seem like a lot to pile on a first year, but it's all timed out just right where it all really works. What is paganism? How old is it? What is the oldest known society where pagan was based on? These are the types of things that um, the education of a student is paramount. If you're going to claim paganism, you need to know where the hell it came from. You need to know what paganism is, and you need to have a good foundation as to what your belief as a pagan, because the Celtic shaman tradition is written on the pagan ideology and the pagan philosophy. It is not very conducive to Christianic shamans, people attempting to be Christianic shamans. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying that the base core philosophy of shamanism is pagan as its core. Let's see. All right. Now, those of you that may be watching on the archives, like YouTube, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, what have you, you might be best to go over to Facebook and search hashtag live with the shaman with no spaces. Again, that's hashtag live with the shaman with no spaces. Look up this video and look at some of the things that are being said in the chat. Um, Posted in the chat is, I accomplished more in 1 year than I did in 5 years after reading these. Time to finish the next set so I can move further ahead. Now, this goes to prove, and this is from a first year perspective that is a remote. I'll be honest and straight up. Here we are, January 2019. This particular student, I'm going to pull her chain here a little bit. This particular student has made it further as a remote student than any other remote student I've ever had. Everybody else drops out, gets pissed off, and quits after the first 9 months or so. They're not willing to put forward the effort to do what needs to be done. Aggravating? Yes. Agitating? Absolutely. Will piss you off? You know it. but the sheer tenacity of you wanting to learn and be who you are will get you through this. And we're right back over here. What is paganism? How old is it? And what is the oldest known society that pagan was based on? I'll let you look that up. Now, come on, guys. The Sabbaths. What are they? When are they? What are their history? I have a memory like a sieve. I will tell you straight up, I have to look up the dates of every Sabbath. I've been doing this over 20 years, and I still have to look up the damn dates of every Sabbath. Absolutely drives me bananas because I can't remember the dates of the freaking Sabbath. If it wasn't for Google Calendar, I'd be screwed because I have the dates of all of the Sabbaths on Google Calendar. Yes, I'm playing with a wire tie. This is the first time I've ever done video training, right, step by step. I'm used to training with individuals on training off of what they tell me. So these first sets of videos, these first sets of broadcasts I'm doing, I'm relatively new to as well. Yeah, I mean, I had to sit and write this crap out going, okay, what do I usually cover next? So, I mean, it is fluid. It will change. There will be stuff added. There may be stuff taken away. So you can watch the uploaded, versions as they manifest and come into fruition. I will try to keep that file system clean and delete the older ones as the newer ones go up. But I want to see your thoughts, okay? Just make sure that if you make a change, that change is in red so I know where it's at. Because if I have to sit here and muddle through my writing and yours, no, not going to do it. And the first time you send me a message that says, word so and so is misspelled, word so and so is misspelled. Where is it? What line is it? What paragraph is it? Where is it at? Put the damn thing in red. If it's misspelled, put the correct writing in there in red. Otherwise, I could care less. Sounds harsh, but it is what it is. I know what I'm capable of. Alright, here we go. Trying to push. Human. Sabbath. Sabbath coincide with the seasons. You're absolutely correct. The turning of the wheel. Absolutely correct. Sean, good to see you. But one of the as a first year within the first 6 months ago, I will absolutely expect you to understand these if you're one of my oath students. And here comes the big one that really just fries people's brains. Ho 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 ho. Heidi ho. What are the cardinal points? How many are they? What do they do? And I love this one. Are the cardinal points associated with the elements in shamanism? What are the cardinal points? How many are there? What do they do? And are the cardinal points associated with the elements in shamanism? And the next question is, what are the elements? What are they? How are they used? Where are they from? How many are they? Yeah. So, real quick to answer these questions, Ben's, these are um, these are actual training classes as well as introduction to what you'll be expected to learn as a first year. here we go. And by the way, we're about out of time. We are 10 minutes before the hour. So I'm going to cover these and we're going to bring it to a close, right? Um, so here we go. 5. Oh, Michelle looks like she got kicked and come back in. Elements. 5. Yes. All right. So here we go. Uh, what are the cardinal points? North, east, south, west. I'll say it again. What are the cardinal points? In succession going clockwise. North, east, south, and west. How many are there? North, east, south, and west. You better say 4. If you don't, you need to go back to school. What do they do? Well, here we go. The northern cardinal point is the inflow of positive energy. The northern cardinal point is the inflow of positive energy. Energy flows naturally from north to south. No, dear, I'm talking about the cardinal points, not the elements. I'm thinking of the elements. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Okay. Again, north is the influx of positive energy. When we open the northern portal, we're asking for the influx of positive energy. Right. So, north, east, south, and west. Right? North, bringing in the positive. East, well, what happens in the east usually depends on where you're at. But for us, sun rises in the east, sets in the west, right? Well, the eastern sun brings forward light. It brings forward warmth. We give thanks to the light. So the eastern cardinal point is the bringer of light, right? If you miss this, hit rewind. The southern point, behind you, the southern point is your exhaust or your vacuum, if you will, of negative energy. So you're opening the positive port of the north, you're opening the negative port of the south so that it can vacuum out that negative energy and finding that balance in between. There's a whole lot of more discussion that goes with this, but these are your basics. Well, let's think about this. If the eastern point, is the sign of light, it's the bringer of light, the giver of warmth, what do we think the western point is? What do we think the western point is? Okay, it says here, west is the setting sun, the rising moon, and seeing through the darkness. That from a first year, and I'm damned if she didn't remember it. Good job. Good on you. All right. So, yes, when we're calling west, we're opening up, for it is through the darkness that we see the light. Dark is not a bad thing. Dark is the natural way of things. If you turn out the damn sun, the cosmos is black. Dark, cold, black. Turn out the light, the party's over type thing. So it is through that darkness. And we also, if we've got a full moon, right? Shamans don't actually do full moon rituals. But if we've got a full moon, we give thanks to the sister for shining our way, right? Well, folks, that's the cardinal points, right? North, east, south, and west, right? I usually consider north to my face, east to my right, south behind me, and west to my left. Now, of course, that depends on which direction I'm standing, doesn't it? I'll let you figure that one out. Whew. And no, to answer the question, I am going to close with this. Number one, my voice is about had it. I'm going to close with this. In shamanism, in the grove of the Celtic shaman, as well as other shamanic tribal groves, if you will, that I have seen out there. Listen close. Shamans do not associate elements with cardinal points. No, shamans do not associate elements with cardinal points. No. North stands on its own and spirit stands on its own, and we will start with spirit on our next broadcast, part 2 of the multi-part series of Live with a Shaman, understanding of learning shamanism, the first year. Wow. Damn, my voice about had. I want to thank you all for watching. Um, you know what I'm going to say. Click like, click the bell, click dislike. Tell me why. And I hope to see questions. Questions. I love questions. Hit me up. We'll see you next time, right here, live with the shaman.